On a day that began like any other, the bustling city of Tel Aviv was shaken from its routine by the piercing wail of air raid sirens. The city, known for its vibrant culture and economic vitality, was suddenly thrust into a state of emergency. Fear gripped the hearts of citizens as they scrambled for shelter, the familiar sound a stark reminder of the ever-present threat of attack. People abandoned their daily activities, leaving behind shops, cafes, and workplaces in a desperate bid to find safety. Minutes later, a deafening explosion echoed through the streets, confirming their worst fears. The blast shattered windows, upended cars, and left a trail of destruction in its wake, a grim testament to the power of the rocket. A rocket, its origins shrouded in mystery, had struck the heart of Israel's cultural and economic hub, sending shockwaves far beyond the immediate blast radius. The attack was a stark reminder of the volatile situation in the region, where peace is often fragile and fleeting. This was not a random act of violence, but a calculated strike aimed at the very heart of Israeli society. The precision and timing of the attack suggested a well-coordinated effort, designed to inflict maximum damage and sow fear among the populace. Adding to the growing sense of unease, reports emerged of a simultaneous barrage targeting the northern town of Shfaram. The small town, known for its diverse community, was suddenly under siege, with rockets raining down from the sky. Over 50 rockets rained down on the unsuspecting community, transforming a peaceful day into a scene of chaos and destruction. Homes were reduced to rubble, and the once quiet streets were filled with the sounds of panic and despair. The sheer scale of the attack, coupled with the audacity of targeting Tel Aviv directly, sent shockwaves through the nation. The psychological impact was profound, as people grappled with the reality of their vulnerability. The Israeli government vowed swift and decisive action, but the question on everyone's lips remained: who was responsible for this brazen assault? Speculation ran rampant, with various groups being named as potential culprits. The attacks on Tel Aviv and Shfaram marked a significant escalation in regional tensions, shattering the illusion of security and raising fears of a wider conflict. The military presence in the streets increased, and the nation braced for potential retaliation. As investigators worked feverishly to piece together the events of that day, the nation held its breath, bracing for what the future might hold. The forensic teams meticulously combed through the debris, searching for clues that might lead to the perpetrators. The specter of violence loomed large, casting a long shadow over the region and leaving many to wonder, how did this happen and what would be the consequences? The attack had not only physical repercussions but also deep psychological scars, as the people of Israel faced an uncertain future. Yet, amidst the fear and uncertainty, there were also moments of resilience and solidarity. Communities came together to support one another, showing that even in the darkest times, the human spirit can shine brightly. The road to recovery would be long, but the determination to rebuild and move forward was palpable. As the sun rose over Tel Aviv the next day, it brought with it a glimmer of hope. The city, though scarred, stood strong, a testament to the resilience of its people. The future remained uncertain, but the resolve to face it head-on was unwavering. The events of that day would not be forgotten, but they would also not define the spirit of Tel Aviv and its people. The rocket attack on Tel Aviv immediately set off alarm bells within the Israeli intelligence community. The sudden and unexpected nature of the attack caught everyone off guard, leading to an immediate scramble to understand the situation. This was no ordinary projectile. The fact that it had managed to penetrate the city's sophisticated air defense systems pointed to a weapon of unusual capability. The Iron Dome, renowned for its effectiveness, had been outmaneuvered, raising questions about the rocket's advanced technology and the expertise behind its launch. Frantic efforts were underway to analyze the scant debris recovered from the impact site, desperate for any clue that could unravel the mystery of its origin. Forensic teams worked tirelessly, sifting through the wreckage, hoping to find any identifiable markings or components that could provide a lead. Initial assessments of the rocket fragments suggested a level of sophistication that far exceeded the crude rockets typically employed by Palestinian militant groups operating in Gaza. The materials and construction techniques indicated a higher degree of engineering, hinting at the involvement of a more advanced entity. The possibility of a more technologically advanced actor, perhaps backed by a state sponsor, could not be ruled out. Analysts began to speculate about the involvement of regional powers, each with their own motives and capabilities. adding layers of complexity to the investigation. This raised the stakes considerably, potentially drawing Israel into a confrontation with a far more formidable adversary. The military was put on high alert, with units mobilized and strategic positions fortified, preparing for any eventuality. The investigation took on a sense of urgency as every passing hour brought with it the potential for further attacks. Teams worked around the clock, driven by the pressing need to prevent another strike and to safeguard the population. Intelligence agencies worked around the clock, sifting through satellite imagery, intercepting communications, and cultivating their networks of informants in a desperate race against time. Every piece of information, no matter how small, was scrutinized for its potential to unlock the mystery. The mystery surrounding the rocket attack deepened, fueling speculation and uncertainty both within Israel and on the international stage. Media outlets buzzed with theories, and the public, gripped by fear and curiosity, demanded answers. Finding those responsible and understanding their motives was now a top priority, not just for Israel's security, but for the stability of the entire region. High-level security meetings were convened, with strategists mapping out potential responses and contingencies, aware that the implications of this attack could ripple far beyond Israel's borders. Diplomatic channels were also activated, as Israel sought to rally international support and cooperation. The attack had not only military but also significant geopolitical ramifications, prompting discussions at the highest levels of global governance. The incident was a stark reminder of the volatile history of the region, where past conflicts and ongoing tensions have often erupted into violence. The trajectory of the rocket, its point of origin, and its intended target were all pieces of a larger puzzle that investigators were determined to solve. Collaboration between military and civilian experts became crucial, as scientists and engineers joined forces to enhance defense systems and develop new strategies to counter such advanced threats. The goal was not only to respond to the immediate danger but also to fortify against future attacks. Amidst the tension, the resilience of the Israeli community shone through. Citizens supported each other, and daily life continued, albeit with heightened vigilance. The spirit of unity and determination was palpable, as everyone played their part in facing the challenge head-on. As the investigation progressed, hope remained that the perpetrators would be identified and brought to justice. The resolve to protect and defend was stronger than ever, with a collective eye towards a safer and more secure future. As investigators dug deeper into the rocket attack, they were met with a perplexing web of conflicting information and unanswered questions. The scene was chaotic, with fragments of the rocket scattered across a wide area, each piece potentially holding a clue to the origin and intent behind the attack. Forensic teams worked tirelessly, sifting through the debris, hoping to find definitive evidence that could provide some clarity. The Israeli government, eager to project an image of strength and control, maintained a tight grip on the flow of information, further fueling speculation and mistrust. At press conferences, officials were tight-lipped, offering only vague assurances of ongoing investigations. This lack of transparency led to a flurry of rumors and theories, each more alarming than the last. Discrepancies in the official narrative only served to heighten the sense of confusion and anxiety gripping the nation. Citizens, already on edge from the constant threat of attacks, found themselves questioning the very institutions meant to protect them. Conversations in cafes and on street corners were dominated by speculation, with everyone trying to piece together the truth from the fragments of information available. Military officials initially claimed that the rocket had been successfully intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome defense system, a statement meant to reassure the public of their safety. The Iron Dome, a symbol of technological prowess and national security, was believed to be nearly infallible. But this assertion was quickly contradicted by eyewitness accounts and video footage showing the projectile striking the heart of Tel Aviv. The footage, which quickly went viral, showed the devastating impact of the rocket, leaving no doubt that it had breached the defenses. The conflicting statements raised serious concerns about the effectiveness of Israel's vaunted air defenses. Defense experts and analysts began to question whether the Iron Dome was as reliable as previously thought, or if new, more advanced threats were emerging that it was not equipped to handle, and whether they were truly capable of protecting the nation from the evolving missile threat. The possibility that the system could be overwhelmed or outmaneuvered by new technology was a chilling thought for many. Adding to the confusion, there was no immediate claim of responsibility for the attack. This silence was unusual and unsettling, as militant groups typically rushed to take credit for such high-profile incidents. While suspicion naturally fell on Palestinian militant groups, the sophistication of the rocket and the targeting of Tel Aviv did not fit their usual modus operandi. Experts noted that the technology used in the attack was more advanced than what these groups typically had access to, raising questions about outside assistance or new alliances. The possibility of a rogue actor, or perhaps a deliberate attempt to frame a particular group and instigate a wider conflict, could not be ruled out. Intelligence agencies began to explore the theory that a third party might be trying to manipulate the situation for their own gain, adding another layer of complexity to an already convoluted scenario. The lack of clarity only served to heighten the sense of unease. People were left to wonder who was truly behind the attack and what their next move might be. The uncertainty was palpable, with every new piece of information only adding to the collective anxiety, leaving Israelis to grapple with the unsettling reality that the enemy remained hidden in the shadows, their motives and capabilities shrouded in mystery. The nation braced itself for what might come next, knowing that the answers they sought were still out of reach, and the threat was far from over. With the mystery of the Tel Aviv rocket attack deepening, investigators turned their attention to the projectile's trajectory, hoping to glean clues about its launch point and, ultimately, the perpetrators. Every effort was made to reconstruct the rocket's flight path, analyzing radar data, scrutinizing satellite imagery, and even collecting eyewitness accounts from those who witnessed the missile streaking across the sky. The investigation, however, was hampered by a lack of concrete data and the inherent difficulty of tracing the trajectory of a ballistic missile. Unlike aircraft, which follow predictable flight paths and emit identifiable signals, ballistic missiles follow a parabolic trajectory, making them much harder to track and intercept. The lack of a clear launch site further complicated the investigation, leaving open the possibility that the rocket had been fired from a mobile launcher, adding another layer of complexity to an already challenging investigation. Despite the challenges, investigators remained determined to piece together the puzzle. The trajectory analysis, while inconclusive, suggested a launch point somewhere to the north of Israel, possibly from within Lebanon or Syria. However, without concrete evidence, it remained impossible to definitively pinpoint the origin of the attack. The search for answers continued, driven by the pressing need to identify those responsible and prevent future attacks.